They called him the Mad King, but few know King George III may have fathered a secret child outside of marriage. Born to a palace servant in 1769, whispers of a royal bastard haunted the drawing rooms of Windsor. The child was said to resemble the king so closely that the queen herself demanded his relocation. Historians later uncovered letters, now hidden in private collections, speaking of hush money, secret guardians, and even a fake death. If true, this boy's bloodline could rival the House of Windsor itself. But his name, like so many secrets of the crown, vanished in the fog of royal discretion. After the death of Prince Albert, Queen Victoria turned to something unexpected: psychics. She held regular séances at Windsor Castle, hoping to hear from her beloved Albert beyond the veil. She even hired a personal medium, Robert Lees, a mysterious man whose predictions often aligned eerily with royal events. Ministers grew concerned as Victoria began consulting the spirits before making political decisions. Her journals, still partly redacted, mention ghostly messages, prophetic dreams, and even warnings of betrayal. The Queen of Empire had become the Queen of the Occult. In 2015, the British government tried to block the release of photographs showing Edward VIII, later the Duke of Windsor, giving the Nazi salute as a young man. But deeper still are the letters he exchanged with high-ranking Nazis even after abdicating. The files, kept in the Windsor dossier, hint that Edward saw Hitler as a potential ally to restore his influence. Churchill ordered these letters buried, but some surfaced in German archives. It paints a chilling portrait, a former king who may have been more loyal to Berlin than to Britain. Before Princess Margaret became a scandalous icon of the 1960s, she fell in love with Group Captain Peter Townsend, a divorced man deemed unfit by the crown. But some say their relationship went further than ever admitted. Rumors persist of a secret pregnancy and a quietly arranged adoption in Switzerland. Royal staff from that era have whispered of a hidden hospital stay, coded diary entries, and hush payments. If this child exists, they'd now be in their 60s, an unknown royal, erased by protocol, lost to history. In 1649, King Charles I was executed, beheaded in public during England's Civil War. But what few realize is how close his son, the future King Charles II, came to the same fate. Captured while in disguise, Charles II evaded death only through a miraculous escape, aided by commoners. For weeks, he hid in the hollow of an oak tree as Cromwell's men scoured the countryside. The royal bloodline hung by a thread, guarded not by armies, but by loyal farmers and thick forest shadows. The monarchy nearly ended in a whisper. In 1835, several royal servants fell violently ill at Buckingham Palace. While doctors blamed bad oysters, secret palace records suggest otherwise. A French chef with ties to revolutionary radicals had recently been hired. He vanished just days after the incident. Diaries of a footman describe strange powders in teacups and a royal guard who collapsed without warning. The chef's name was erased from staff lists, his origins hidden. Was it a failed assassination attempt on the crown? The incident was never investigated publicly, but quietly the Queen replaced her entire kitchen. In 1850, a massive fire broke out in the west wing of Windsor Castle. Official reports blamed faulty gas lines, but internal palace memos suggest it was caused by a forbidden experiment: the young Prince Albert Edward playing with chemicals in a locked study. The fire destroyed priceless manuscripts and artwork. Rather than risk scandal, the crown blamed servants and quietly compensated the families of two who died. The press never learned the truth, and Edward went on to become king. But within the walls of Windsor, scorched memes still bear the memory. Catherine and Nerissa Bowes-Lyon, cousins of Queen Elizabeth II, were born with developmental disabilities.
But instead of support, they were declared dead and placed in a mental asylum under false names. For decades, they lived in isolation, never visited by family, while their names appeared in official records as deceased. It wasn't until 1987 that a journalist uncovered their existence. The monarchy offered no apology. These were royal women, blood relatives, hidden from the world simply because they didn't fit the image of perfection. In 1912, a man named James Windsor claimed to be the secret half-brother of King George V. He wore custom-tailored uniforms, crashed elite parties, and gave speeches in royal tone. The press adored him until one sharp-eyed duke exposed his true identity, a con man from Leeds. But here's the twist. Some say he had real palace documents gifted from an unknown royal source. Was he a fraud, or was he revealing a deeper, buried truth? Scotland Yard intervened, and all records of his trial were sealed. The mystery remains. During repairs to St. George's Chapel in the 1920s, workers uncovered a small, unmarked coffin beneath the floor of the royal crypt, sealed with silver nails and garlic. No name, no record, just a crude inscription in Latin, condemned and forgotten. Historians believe it may have been a superstitious 17th century burial, but why in a royal chapel? Whispers of a cursed cousin executed for strange behavior had circulated for centuries. The coffin was quietly resealed and the area closed off. The monarchy never commented. Was it myth, or did the royal vault once hold something undead?